Hi, Taylor. My name is Brittany, and I'm going to be your counselor today. How are you doing?
Well, hello, Brittany. I'm doing okay, all things considered. I hope your day's going well.
It's going well. Thanks for asking. So, before we dive in, because you are new to counseling, and there's a few things I want to go over with you just so you can know, the expectations I have for you, expectations you have for me, any questions. I'm going to start off with this consent form that you did fill out, but I'm just going to review it so you can, if you have any questions about it, we can go over it. And just so you can, just understand what all you're agreeing to.
Okay.
So it states that you consent to the recordings being made of this counseling session and that they are going to be used in the aid of growth counseling knowledge and skills. Is that correct? Do
Yes.
you have any questions about that?
No, I do not.
All right. You consent to the excerpts from these recordings or descriptions being used by the university faculty and staff for the purposes of supervision, research, and or teaching.
Yep, that's okay.
You understand that any part of the conversation that's recorded or written down in notes will be kept confidential.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that you will not disclose any information that may identify myself in the counseling sessions. The information will be fictional and we will both use an alias.
Okay.
You understand that Zoom will be used to record counseling sessions and that it meets both HIPAA and FERPA confidentiality standards.
Yes, I do.
And you understand that if the recording of the counseling session activates any suicide ideation or harmful thoughts, you will reach out to a professional immediately and that GCU, the college, or myself will not be held accountable for anything.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about anything on the consent form?
No, I do not. It all seems pretty straightforward.
Okay. All right. So Taylor, what brings you in here today?
Well, we've been having feeling a little blue lately, and I think I know why, but I just wanted to have the opportunity to talk about it with someone who can probably offer a little bit more guidance.
Okay.
So, back in college, I went to school 5 years ago. That's when I graduated. My senior year, we had a house that we rented, all of my friends and I, off campus, and we all lived together and went to school together. And it was just a wonderful time. I got to spend so much time just with and around my friends. We would go out frequently. We spent almost all of our time together, and it was wonderful to have everyone that I cared about so close to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all graduated and started to go our separate ways with either furthering our education in higher education into the private sector, starting families. We are all our own individuals, and so we all went off and explored our own lives. But as we did, we became a little bit more distant. We were not talking as frequently. It took a lot more planning and effort to see each other and to hang out, and it became more and more infrequent. And recently, the depth of conversations that we have with each other have really waned. We used to be able to share anything with each other, the way that we were feeling, problems with relationships and whatnot. And now it seems like it's almost been relegated to nothing more than small talk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really kind of left me feeling a little down and a little blue that there's almost this void in my life that my all my friends used to fill, and now it's becoming empty, and I'm just kind of feeling lonely. And that the core friend group that I used to have that was so close is now disseminating into nothing but distant acquaintances.
Yeah, I can understand how that would change when you're around them all the time and you're such a close friend group. But the hard part is, though, as we grow older, this does happen. So had I have seen this quite a bit. Let's go back to how you said you were feeling blue. When did that start about, or has it like been building up, or can you pinpoint when it like maybe a scenario where it really started to affect you?
Mm. Well, it kind of has been slowly growing and festering since we all graduated. I mean, of course, with us not living together, there was that immediate physical distance where we were not seeing each other every day and we're not hanging out every day. But it seems like a threshold has been crossed lately, where a sudden spike in these feelings of mine, and it was I was having a conversation with one of my old friends. His name is James, and James and I used to be really close. You know, in the friend group, we had our own interests that we shared and things that we talked about very frequently. And when we talked most recently, it seemed very distant, that we again were only having small talk and we weren't able to connect the way that we used to back when we were all living together. So that's kind of been a catalyst for these feelings of mine, that most recent conversation that I had with my friend James.
So that's kind of what made you realize, how you guys are all growing up and kind of going on different paths a little bit. And it's just kind of, how would you describe your feeling of blue? Um,
Well, kind of feeling eh, empty and distant with my friends. You know, these were people that I spent so much of my time with and so much of my life with, and then it now feels like the people that I was once so close to have fallen out of my life, and it's that feeling of, we'll say, emptiness, that I do not have people close to me. If I were to only have to put one word on it, I would say it would be lonely.
yeah. If this makes you feel uncomfortable, let me know. But does it feel kind of like you've been pushed to the side a little bit? Like as they grow on their path, you've just kind of been sidestepped as they continue on, where you still want to keep that bond with them?
Well, I don't know if it's really being sidestepped or left out. You know, it's not the kind of situation where the core friend group stayed together and I just became more and more excluded from it. We all kind of have gone our separate ways and our different ways. Actually, when I was talking with James, I asked him if he, or when was the last time that he talked with another guy in our friend group, Sam, who we all, of course, were close. And he made comments like, "Oh, I haven't talked to him in months, or I haven't heard from him in a long time." And, you know, James said he didn't know what was going on in Sam's life. And, you know, it just seems like all of us have just begun to scatter and go our separate ways here, and we haven't been able to stay close. So I wouldn't say it's a feeling of being left out of the group, but rather that the friendship and camaraderie that we once had is beginning to dissolve.
Okay, I understand it a little bit more. I was just asking not to make you feel uncomfortable, but more to get more in depth on the situation so I can see if it's just yourself that is being affected or if you see other friends being affected by this overall scenario. Um, the hard part is as we grow, people do go their own separate ways. And I understand how it can affect one to feel, you were so close with your friends at one point, and then as you guys grew, you wanted to keep that. But at the same time, being an adult, it is hard to keep friendships. I'm sure people do realize that, but the hard part is no one really realizes it until we're in the situation. And so my goal for you is to just think of like an action plan or goals that you want to accomplish in order to eliminate this feeling of, you said, like emptiness and like the void you have of losing your friends. And then I also want to think of some coping skills that you can do, or some like small goals that you can do in order to help abate these feelings, because I can see how much you are struggling with this. And no one wants to feel that way. I don't want you to feel that way. You don't want to feel that way. Um, it is a really hard scenario because you are being affected by other people's behaviors and lives. So my goal is to find ways for you to help yourself. So while you may keep in contact with them and it might be more distant and not as close knit as it was before, you don't feel as much of an emptiness because you will always know. I'm sure your friends are the kind of people that I'm hoping they are. If you need them, they will always be there for you. I'm guessing. Is that correct, or is that a little out of the ballpark?
No, I would say it is still correct, although that we do not talk as frequently. There are still moments where, yeah, I can see that we all still genuinely care about each other. For example, one of the guys in our old friend group is getting married recently, and we were
Oh,
all invited to the.
fun.
Well, thank you, and all of us were invited to the wedding, and so it's the moments like that that make me think that we do still have, you know, the strong connections that we did, and that it might just be that because of how our lives are progressing, we're not able to talk with each other or see each other as much. But I still have these, fleeting thoughts of, fear that we are again becoming, like I said, from close friends to distant acquaintances.
Mhm. Can I ask how many friends, including not including yourself, were in this friend group? You said you all lived together, yes?
Yes, we did. There
So,
were, sorry, apart from myself, there were six of us that all lived together. It was a pretty big house.
okay, wow, that is a lot of people. Um, Out of the six, would you say you're still close with anyone? And by close, I mean talk to, let's say on an average, 3 times a week. And by talk, I mean like an in-depth conversation, not just the small talk that you mentioned.
It's nowhere near that frequent. I would say that as far as more the conversations of substance, I would say only occur once every maybe 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. So it is, I can now see like the impact it is really having because, it is hard when you're used to seeing people physically and talking to them all the time. Um, as over the phone and over text messages, it's not the same, but if you can keep it constant, I can see how, it might help a little bit more, but seeing as you just shared that it's been less constant than I was hoping for, I can see how you're struggling. Let's see. What kind of things do you like to do in your spare time to help you like just get your thoughts in order? Like, are you a reader? Are you a journaler? Are you like, do you draw? What kind of things do you like to get your thoughts in order?
Well, one thing that I like to do to really help recenter myself is go for a walk in a nature preserve. There is a nice set of trails right by my house that winds through woodsy areas and around a lake, and oftentimes I'll go there for just 2 to 3 hours just to clear my head, not use my phone at all, and that really has helped me recenter myself and kind of collect my thoughts.
Does it help like kind of, let's see how to word this. So I know for some, when they have those moments where they can just like calm their thoughts and everything, it also affects how they're feeling and they can kind of compartmentalize a little bit on their thoughts and feelings a little bit. I do have the suggestion of journaling. It might sound a little out of the box, but maybe you could try writing about your friends, like maybe writing a letter to each of them, like how you feel, and like you could bring up like memories, like sharing the letter of like what you miss most about them. Or you could do like a chart. Again, not a normal like skill coping mechanism, but like just what you love and care most about your friends for their each unique individual personalities. And then maybe when you feel comfortable, like you could share that with them just so you know that, so you can let them know how you're feeling. Because have you talked to them about how you're feeling about the distance a little bit? Or
No, I have not. That has not been a topic that we have brought up or discussed explicitly.
okay, and I know it is a very hard topic to bring up, so that's why I suggest, maybe just writing down how you feel about your friends, and like, or write down memories when they just come to you. Like, you could write the date and who you're with, what you were doing, like a memory journal in a sense. It might not help with the main goal of getting back, with your friend group and as close as you were, but it's a way to help yourself let out your feelings so that way you're not like bottling them up. And then that way you can also reminisce on the good times. You can have those memories to look back on instead of just, as we age, the hard thing is sometimes memories do fade. And like I said, maybe one day you could share one of these with one of your friends, and it could rebuild that friendship. Um, just thinking of some ideas that can help you with how you're feeling. The hard part is, my goal is to help you feel better about yourself and for you to better yourself. And I can see how the behaviors of others are affecting you. So I'm just trying to help find skills that you're not feeling in the situation, and you're not feeling, as you said, blue all the time. It's a hard situation, but I am here to help you in any way or form that I can.
I appreciate that. I think that of all of the recommendations that you suggested, what I think might help me is, starting to journal and try and get into words exactly how I am feeling.
Mhm.
This is a new situation for me, and I have felt a lot of different emotions that I'm not accustomed to given the circumstances. And I've been at times kind of confused and scared at what I am feeling and why. And so I think that something that would probably help me that you suggested is to write down what I am feeling and maybe why I'm feeling it to try and get these emotions into words.
Mhm.
Uh, I think that before I can try and start immediately jumping to how do I fix and improve the way that I am feeling, I first have to have a better understanding of what exactly I am feeling.
Mhm.
Kind of the way that I'm looking at it is, there's the age old adage of before you can fix a problem, you have to acknowledge that there is one. Well, I think the next step that I'm at beyond that is understanding every single aspect that is causing it to be a problem.
And I would say fixing the problem, like for your situation, Taylor, your main goal would be you finding the motivation and the confidence and the courage to speak up to your friends and tell them how you're feeling. I know it is easier said than done, so that is why I'm here to help you along the way. Um, I feel our first small goal for our action plan for you would be, like you said, journaling. Sometimes writing down our thoughts and feelings can be hard because we can't put into words. So I have a recommendation of maybe just finding those adjectives, or that just describe how you're feeling. You don't have to say I'm feeling this because of so. You could just be, you're feeling blue, you could feel scared, you're feeling lost, like however you feel, you just write it down. And that could just help. Like whatever word you feel, as you know, everyone has different thoughts and feelings and how they process everything. Maybe if you just write it down, sometimes if you just write it down, it's in a way it's like therapeutic because you're letting it out. You're taking it out of yourself and putting it on the paper and putting it in the book. So that way you're like, okay, it's in here. So I've let it out. It's in the book. It will stay in the book. Hopefully, I'm not saying that works for everyone, but I want to give it a try for you. And if it doesn't, we can find another skill that helps you, or maybe you'll think of something and just end up doing it. And then when you come back to me and tell me, you know, that's what I'm here for, is to encourage you to find coping skills, to offer coping skills, just any way to help you get through this situation. Because as I said, I'm here for you and I just want you to feel better. And it is a really hard situation. And I'm glad that you did come in and talk to me about this so I can help you get to the main goal of feeling confident enough in yourself to let your friends know how you're really feeling, because that's a really scary thing to do. And sometimes it's a scary thing to think about. Even myself, sometimes I don't even want to tell people how I'm feeling because it's hard to share. It's hard to be vulnerable. Um, do you have any ideas of what you might want to do for coping skills? Like, I know you mentioned journaling, kind of feeding off what I said, but I'm here to help you brainstorm a little bit.
Well, I think that the journaling and writing down exactly how I am feeling will be an excellent start. I think that being able to find a way to get my feelings into words and to accurately describe them is going to be very critical here. Like I said, I've never been in a situation like this before, and I've never had these feelings before, and so I don't have anything to go off of as far as, oh, this previous time when I felt this way, here's how I dealt with it. It's flying through new territory. And so I do think that writing down what I am feeling, what's making me feel this way will be definitely a good start. Another thing that I think I'm going to start doing um, is probably be the one to reach out more frequently.
Mhm.
Back when we all lived together in college, there really was no need to try and reach out and make plans because we all lived together. We were right there the entire time. All you had to do was go walk into the living room or to one of your friends' bedrooms to be able to say, hey, let's hang out, let's go do something. And now that we are all physically separated and living in all of our own spaces, it's a new, I don't want to say skill, but a new facet of seeing them all, of actually reaching out and making plans. Hey, when are you free? When uh, would you like to be able to go see each other? And so I think that'll probably be something I start doing to try and alleviate the situation.
Well, you're already ahead of the game because that was going to be my next small goal for your action plan. My first was just to help you figure out your feelings so that way you're not so conflicted with how you're feeling about this. I do appreciate you taking the jump and wanting to reach out to your friends and make plans. And it doesn't even have to be, you know, set plans right away. You could just start by reaching out, like, how are you doing? How is your week? Just build off the small talk, but start to maybe try and get a little more in depth. Um, One thing I would like you to leave here today thinking is that, yes, it is hard that you and your friends are, going your own separate ways as you grow older, but maybe if you are able to get those plans, it'll be more exciting for you to, get together and, you know, reminisce and talk about what's going on in the present, what might be happening in the future, like if anyone has plans that they're excited to share with you. Like you said, you would just walk into the living room and there would be your friends and you would see them every day. And now you get to be the adult and play catch up, and in its own way, that can be like the foundation for a friendship, because you have your friendship from college where you were all together all the time, and now you're going into the friendship of an adulthood where it's adulting, I admit, is hard. Like, I will admit that, but you will have where you can learn these new pieces about your friends because they're not in the same mindset as they were when you were in college as they are now. Like you said, people are getting married, they're starting families, getting their careers started. Like, there's so many new things to learn about your friends that I want you to leave thinking with that positive note that this could be a beginning to even a better and stronger friendship with those friends.
Well, I sure hope it is. I
I
am excited every time. Thank you. I am excited every time I learn new pieces of information about them when we do talk, what they're doing in their lives, what they've done in the week. Yeah, if they've gone to concerts recently, that those have been some of the better moments of when we have been talking.
Yeah, I don't think some people realize that while you can be friends with someone from even childhood, like, you're still learning about them as they grow, because no matter our age, whether we're 16, we're in our 20s, we're in our 70s, we're still learning about ourselves. Therefore, others are still learning about us. So that is one thing I like to share, is that we're all learning about each other. So that is an exciting new chapter for our friends, because then they can learn more about us, and it can build a friendship even stronger than it is.
And I hope that I am able to build that stronger friendship that I had with all of my old friends from college.
I hope so for you too.
Yeah.
I noticed we only have like maybe 2 or 3 more minutes left of our session. Is there anything you would like, to talk about? Any questions? Anything you would like to, you know, start talking about for next session? Like, is there
Well,
anything?
well, I feel like we covered all of the things that I would have questions on. And I feel like I've got a good game plan for what I can do to not only understand the feelings that I am having and to get them on paper through journaling, but also a plan to begin to reconnect with all of my friends with trying to reach out more frequently. I do want to say thank you for your guidance and counseling. I think it has been very helpful this session.
Well, thank you. So I will leave you with this homework of to start journaling, whether you want to do however you want to do it, whether you want to write down your feelings, even if it's just a word. If you want to write down memories of your friends, if you want to write letters to your friends, or your favorite, aspects of your friend, however you want to do your journaling, I will leave that as your homework assignment. And I do look forward to hearing from you next week. I'm excited to hear if maybe you have reached out to a friend, but I will not push you in that direction yet until you are ready. My goal right now is to just help you figure out your feelings, and next time we meet, maybe if you feel comfortable, we could go over those feelings and explain how you're feeling, and I can give you some feedback on how to help you with that.
I'd like that very much.
All right, well, I will leave you to your day, Taylor, so I hope you have a good day.
Thank you, and you as well, Brittany.
All right, thank you, have a good one.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.